Alex Carter yawned as he adjusted the satellite dish outside the research station. The cold Montana wind bit at his face, but he barely noticed. After 5 years at this remote outpost, he had grown used to the harsh conditions. He was 32 years old, 5 feet 9 inches tall with a lean build that many called skinny. His brown hair whipped around his face as he tightened the last bolt. "Almost done out there?" Susan Miller's voice crackled through his earpiece. She was the station's communication expert and Alex's closest friend at the outpost. "Just finished," Alex replied, climbing down the ladder. "The signal should be clearer now." As he made his way back inside, he had no idea that today would change everything, not just for him, but for all of humanity. The first sign came at 3:17 p.m. Every screen in the research station flickered, then displayed the same message: "We come in peace." At first, they thought it was a prank from another research team. Then the satellite feed showed it. A massive ship, unlike anything ever built on Earth, settling into orbit. Within hours, the world's leaders were scrambling. News channels showed nothing else. People prayed, panicked, or partied like it was the end of the world. In a way, it was the end of the world as they knew it. 3 days later, Alex found himself in Washington, D.C., sitting in a room with 11 other specialists chosen from around the world. They had been selected not for their political connections or military experience, but for their problem-solving abilities and diverse knowledge. "I still don't understand why I'm here," Alex whispered to Dr. Patty Walsh, a biologist from Chicago who sat beside him. "I'm just an engineer who redesigned the cooling systems that keep the International Space Station running," she replied with a small smile. "Stop selling yourself short." Before Alex could respond, the door opened. General Frank Roberts walked in, his face grim. "Ladies and gentlemen, in 30 minutes, you will meet representatives from what they call the Viridian Alliance. You've been briefed on what little we know. Your job is to represent humanity's intellectual capacity. Show them we're worth talking to." He looked directly at Alex. "Worth saving if it comes to that." The meeting took place in a specially prepared conference room. The human delegation waited nervously, 12 ordinary people suddenly responsible for humanity's first impression. When the Viridians entered, a collective gasp filled the room. They were enormous. The smallest stood over 7 feet tall with broad shoulders and limbs thick with muscle. Their skin ranged from deep blue to purple, with ridges where human eyebrows would be. But most striking were their eyes. 3 of them arranged in a triangle, taking in everything with obvious intelligence. The leader stepped forward. "I am Commander Krex of the Viridian Alliance. We have observed your world for some time and deemed it appropriate to make contact." His voice was deeper than seemed possible, and though he spoke perfect English, his mouth moved strangely around the words. General Roberts performed the introductions. When he reached Alex, Commander Krex tilted his head. "This one seems underdeveloped." "Is he not mature?" The room went silent. Alex felt his cheeks burn. "Mr. Carter is one of our finest engineers," the general said stiffly. Commander Krex made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Interesting. On our worlds, those with such builds would not survive childhood." Over the next few hours, the humans learned about the Viridian Alliance. 7 species from different planets who had joined together centuries ago. They had mastered faster-than-light travel, cured most diseases, and colonized dozens of worlds. Their society valued strength, both physical and technological. "We evolved on high-gravity worlds," explained another Viridian named Zentar. "What you call muscle is merely survival for us." As part of the cultural exchange, the Viridians suggested a demonstration of physical abilities. They set up simple tests, lifting weights, running short distances, reaction time measurements. The humans did their best, with some athletic members of the delegation performing admirably by Earth standards. But even Earth's representatives were no match for Viridian physiology. When Alex's turn came, he struggled with weights the Viridians considered light. His mile run time was nearly double that of the Viridian average. "Perhaps your kind specialize in mental tasks," Commander Krex suggested, not unkindly, but with obvious pity that stung worse than mockery. During a break, Alex wandered the conference room, examining the Viridian technology they had brought. His engineer's mind couldn't help but notice details: inefficient power routing in their portable devices, unnecessary bulk in their tools. It was advanced, certainly, but not optimized. When he pointed this out to a Viridian technician, the alien dismissed him with what seemed to be their version of an eye roll. What would a species so physically inadequate know about designing truly robust systems? The technician said. Later that evening, the human delegation gathered in a secure room to discuss the day's events. They see us as weaklings, Dr. Walsh said, voicing what everyone felt. Did you notice how they talk about strength? Alex asked. It's always physical or technological size. Bigger, heavier, more powerful. General Roberts nodded. They're from high-gravity worlds. Makes sense they'd evolve to value those traits. But that's not the only kind of strength, Alex insisted. I was looking at their equipment. It's impressive, but overbuilt. They use brute force where finesse would work. Better. What are you suggesting? Asked Dr. Kim, a physicist from Seattle. Nothing yet, Alex replied. Just observing. That night, alone in his hotel room, Alex couldn't sleep. He pulled out his tablet and began sketching improvements to Viridian designs he had seen. Their portable energy scanner could be half the size with proper circuit routing. Their communication devices used redundant systems that added weight without significant reliability benefits. The next morning, feeling groggy but determined, Alex approached Commander Krex before the formal meetings began. Sir, I noticed some potential improvements to your scanning device, he said, offering his tablet with the redesigned schematics. Commander Krex glanced at the screen, then laughed, a deep, rumbling sound. Young human, our technology has been refined over centuries. Your species hasn't even left your own solar system. With respect, efficiency isn't about age or distance traveled. Alex replied. Your scanner works well, but it could work better. The commander's three eyes focused intently on Alex. Better how? It could be smaller, use less power, and scan more accurately. The laws of physics apply everywhere, even on high-gravity worlds. For a moment Commander Krex seemed interested. Then another Viridian called him away. As he left, he handed the tablet back to Alex. Focus on building up your body, small human. Leave technology to those who have mastered it. As the day's meetings began, Alex sat quietly, turning Commander Krex's dismissal over in his mind. The aliens clearly had much to teach humanity, but perhaps humanity had something to offer as well. If only the Viridians would listen. What Alex didn't know then was that the Viridians weren't just making friendly contact. They needed allies. And soon, they would test whether humans were worthy of that alliance or too weak to bother saving. A month passed since first contact. The Viridians established a temporary base outside Denver, Colorado. Meetings continued daily between human representatives and the aliens. Alex remained part of the delegation, though often ignored by the Viridians who preferred to speak with military leaders and politicians. One morning, as Alex entered the conference room, he sensed something different. The Viridians seemed tense, their usual confidence replaced by what might be worry. Commander. Krex stood at the front of the room, his three eyes blinking more rapidly than normal. Today we must speak of why we truly came to Earth, Commander Krex announced after everyone was seated. The room fell silent. General Roberts leaned forward. We've been wondering that ourselves. Commander Krex pressed a button on his wrist device. A holographic display appeared in the center of the room, showing star systems and what looked like military movements. The Viridian Alliance is at war, he said. The Noridian Empire has been expanding aggressively for decades. They conquer worlds, strip them of resources, and enslave populations. Images appeared of another alien species, similar in size to the Viridians but with gray skin and 4 arms. Their ships were angular and dark, unlike the smooth curves of Viridian vessels. The Noridians have entered this sector of space, Commander Krex continued. Your world will be in their path within 2 years. Gasps and whispers filled the human side of the room. We came to assess if your species would make worthy allies, another Viridian named Zentar added. Or if your world would fall too easily to be worth our protection. Alex felt cold fear spread through his chest. This wasn't just cultural exchange. It was an audition for survival. General Roberts stood up. What exactly do you need from us to prove our worth? Commander Krex's expression was grave. We propose a series of trials to test your species' capabilities. If you pass, we will include Earth in our defensive network. And if we fail, Dr. Walsh asked, then you face the Noridians alone. The human delegation requested time to consult with world leaders. That evening, an emergency meeting was called with representatives from major nations joining via secure video. They're essentially blackmailing us, said the French president. Perform for them or be left defenseless. We have no choice, replied the Indian Prime Minister. We've all seen their technology. If these Noridians are even more advanced, we need the Viridians' help. 2 days later, the humans agreed to the trials. The first few tests focused on military strategy and were conducted with Earth's top generals. The humans performed adequately, but not impressively. Next came tests of resource management during crisis scenarios. Again, humans showed competence, but nothing that seemed to excite the Viridians. Then came physical combat trials. Viridian warriors easily defeated human special forces soldiers in every contest. With each failure, the aliens' disappointment became more obvious. Commander Krex's 3 eyes showed less respect each day. Alex spent most of his time watching from the sidelines, studying Viridian technology whenever possible. He noticed how their combat suits used excessive power, how their weapons generated unnecessary heat, how their ships burned fuel inefficiently despite their advanced state. One evening, after a particularly disheartening day of trials, Alex approached Susan Miller, who had also been selected for the delegation because of her communications expertise. Have you noticed something about their technology? He asked her quietly as they walked back to their quarters. Susan shrugged. It's far beyond ours? Yes, but also no, Alex replied. It's like they only solve problems one way, with more power, more material, more force. That's how they evolved, Susan said. Remember high-gravity worlds. But that's exactly it, Alex said, excitement creeping into his voice. They're trapped in their evolutionary mindset. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. The next morning, Alex requested a meeting with Lisa Wright, who had replaced General Roberts as head of the human delegation. Lisa was a career diplomat with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. You have 5 minutes, she told Alex when he entered her office. We're approaching this all wrong, Alex said without preamble. We keep trying to beat the Viridians at their own game, physical strength, brute force. We'll never win that way, Lisa sighed. I'm aware of our limitations, Alex. But that's just it. They're not limitations if we change the game. Alex pulled out his tablet and showed her his designs. Their technology is advanced but inefficient. They waste energy, materials, and space because on their worlds, conservation wasn't necessary. Lisa studied the designs, her expression changing, from skepticism to interest. Go on. I want to challenge them to a different kind of contest, Alex said. One that tests adaptive thinking and efficiency, human strengths. What kind of contest? Alex explained his idea. A challenge to design and build a vessel capable of navigating a treacherous asteroid field. Their instinct will be to build something big and powerful to smash through obstacles. I want to show them another approach. Lisa was quiet for a long moment. Commander Krex would need to agree to this challenge, and even if he did, what if you lose? Then we're no worse off than we are now, Alex replied. But if I win, it might change how they see us. After heated debate among Earth's leaders, Lisa finally received authorization to propose Alex's challenge. She approached Commander Krex following that day's trials. Commander, we wish to propose a different type of test, she said. Commander Krex tilted his massive head. Your warriors have already demonstrated their capabilities. Not all strength is in combat, Lisa replied. We challenge you to a contest of engineering and problem solving. She explained Alex's proposal. Commander Krex listened, his 3 eyes blinking occasionally. This human, he finally said, pointing to Alex who stood nearby. Believes he can outperform Viridian engineers? Alex stepped forward. I believe different evolutionary paths lead to different strengths. This would test which approach is better for certain problems. Commander Krex was silent for a moment. Then his mouth stretched in what humans had learned. Was a smile, though not a friendly one. Very well. I accept your challenge, small human. We will build vessels to navigate the asteroid field beyond your Mars. The trial will take place in 14 of your days. As Commander Krex walked away, he spoke over his shoulder. Your species grows more interesting even in your desperation, though I wonder if entertaining challenges is the best use of your limited time before the Noridians arrive. That night, as Alex prepared for bed, his tablet chimed with a message. It was from Lisa. Satellites have detected unusual activity at the edge of our solar system. Unknown ships, not Viridian. They're watching us. Alex stared at the message, his heart pounding. The Noridians were already here, which meant they had even less time than they thought. His challenge wasn't just about proving human worth anymore. It might be the last chance to save Earth. The morning after Alex received Lisa's message about the unknown ships, he was called to a special meeting. In a secure underground room, Lisa stood with several military officers and scientists. Large screens showed blurry images of ships near Pluto. The Noridians aren't waiting 2 years, Lisa announced grimly. Intelligence suggests they're sending scout ships to assess our defenses. Or lack thereof, muttered one general. Have the Viridians been informed? Alex asked. Lisa nodded. Commander Krex says this is typical Noridian behavior. They study potential targets before attacking. We may have 6 months at most. Then our challenge is even more important, Alex said. We need to show our value quickly. Agreed, Lisa replied. You have the resources you requested. A team has been assembled. She handed him a tablet. They're waiting for you now. Alex's workspace was a large warehouse on the outskirts of Denver. Inside, he found 3 people studying holographic displays projected by Viridian technology. Alex, Carter? A tall woman with short blonde hair approached him. I'm Kelly Johnson, materials specialist. She introduced the others. Tim Garcia, a stocky man with friendly eyes who specialized in propulsion systems, and Joe Kim, a young physicist with a quiet demeanor. The Viridians have given us minimal resources, Kelly explained, showing Alex around. Outdated equipment by their standards, which is still decades ahead of our best tech, Tim added with a grin. Alex examined the materials and tools. It's enough, he said. The Viridians think this challenge is about raw power. It's not. He called the team to a table where he brought up images of the asteroid field they would need to navigate. The Viridians will build a ship designed to power through obstacles, Alex explained. Heavy shields, strong engines, but look at this data. He pointed to readings from probes. These asteroids have unusual properties. Joe leaned forward. High electromagnetic signatures. Interesting. Exactly, Alex said. Instead of fighting against the field, we'll work with it. For the next 3 days, they analyzed the properties of the asteroid field. The rocks weren't just floating randomly. They followed patterns influenced by gravitational pulls from Mars and Jupiter, as well as solar winds. Meanwhile, reports came that Commander Krex's engineering team had started construction on a massive vessel with reinforced hull plating and powerful thrusters. On the 4th day, Alex's team began building their own ship. Unlike the Viridians' bulky design, theirs would be smaller and lighter, with specialized systems to detect and respond to the electromagnetic properties of the asteroids. Think of it like surfing, Alex explained to Lisa when she visited to check their progress. Instead of powering straight through waves, you ride them. Lisa looked doubtful. The Viridians seemed confident. They always do, Alex replied. That's their weakness. As days passed, both teams worked around the clock. The Viridians labored in 12-hour shifts, using their tremendous strength to assemble massive components. Alex's team worked differently, in problem-solving sprints, taking breaks to rest their minds, then returning with fresh perspectives. One evening, Commander Krex visited their workshop. He towered over the humans, his three eyes taking in their smaller vessel with clear amusement. "Your craft appears fragile," he said. "It's designed for a different approach," Alex replied. "This asteroid field has destroyed ships 10 times stronger than yours," Commander Krex said. "The rocks move at tremendous speeds." "Yes," Alex agreed, "and fighting against that movement requires tremendous energy." "Strength," Commander Krex corrected. "Not all problems require strength to solve," Alex said. "Some require understanding." Commander Krex made the rumbling sound that passed for Viridian laughter. "Understanding will not protect you when a rock the size of your building strikes your vessel." After he left, Kelly approached Alex. "He has a point. If our calculations are wrong—" "They're not," Alex assured her. "Trust the math." On the 10th day, they completed the main construction. Their ship was sleek compared to the Viridian vessel, with specialized sensors covering its surface. Inside, the control systems were designed to process information quickly and make micro-adjustments to the ship's course. "It looks like a leaf compared to their battleship," Tim remarked. "A leaf that bends in the wind survives the storm that breaks the mighty oak," Joe said quietly. They all turned to look at him in surprise. "My grandmother used to say that," he explained with a small smile. The most crucial component was what Alex called the harmonizer, a system designed to create a field around their ship that would interact with the electromagnetic properties of the asteroids. Instead of being a target for collision, their ship would be gently pushed away, like similar poles of magnets repelling each other. On the 12th day, a soldier rushed into their workshop. "You need to see this," he said, handing Alex a tablet. "Dying." Screen showed footage from a space telescope. A small Viridian outpost on one of Jupiter's moons had been attacked and destroyed. The attackers, Noridian warships. "They're testing our defenses more aggressively now," Lisa said when Alex called her. "The Viridians are concerned. Commander Krex has moved up your challenge to tomorrow." That night, none of them slept. They ran final checks on their systems, calibrated sensors, and tested the harmonizer again and again. "What if it doesn't work?" Kelly asked as dawn approached. "Then we adjust," Alex replied. "That's what humans do. We adapt." The day of the challenge arrived under clear blue skies. Both vessels had been transported to a launch facility. The contrast between them couldn't be more striking. The Viridian ship was huge, bristling with reinforced plating and massive engines. Alex's ship looked almost delicate in comparison, its surface smooth and covered with sensors. A crowd had gathered: military personnel, scientists, government officials, and media representatives from around the world. This was more than a competition. Now, with Noridians already in the solar system, humanity needed this alliance. Commander Krex approached Alex before the launch. "Your courage is admirable, even if your methods are questionable," he said. "The conditions are simple. Navigate through the asteroid field to the beacon on the other side. First to arrive wins." "And if we win?" Alex asked. "Then your species will have proven itself worthy of consideration," Commander Krex replied. "If you survive, that is." As Alex boarded his ship with his team, he received a message from Lisa. "Satellite feeds show more Noridian ships approaching. Whatever happens today, it needs to impress the Viridians. Our future depends on it." Alex took his place at the controls. Tim, Kelly, and Joe sat at their stations. Through the viewports, they could see the massive Viridian vessel preparing for launch. "Ready?" Alex asked his team. They nodded, faces tense but determined. "Remember," Alex said as the countdown began, "they think strength is about force. We're about to show them it's also about adaptation." The engines hummed to life. The real test was about to begin. The countdown reached 0. Both ships lifted off from Earth, rising through the atmosphere on columns of blue fire. The Viridian vessel left a thunderous boom in its wake, while Alex's ship climbed with a quieter hum. Inside Alex's ship, the team worked their stations calmly. Kelly monitored the hull integrity, Tim managed the propulsion systems, and Joe kept his eyes on the sensor readings. Alex sat at the main controls, guiding their path. Earth control to human vessel. You are clear of the atmosphere, came Lisa's voice over the radio. The race officially begins when you pass the moon's orbit. On a side screen, Alex could see the Viridian ship pulling ahead, its massive engines pushing it forward at tremendous speed. They're trying to intimidate us, Tim remarked. Alex nodded. Let them use up their fuel. We have a different strategy. It took 3 hours to reach the moon. As they passed its cratered surface, Earth Control announced, both vessels have crossed the starting line. The challenge has begun. Immediately, the Viridian ship accelerated even faster, quickly becoming smaller in their viewports. Now it's our turn, Alex said. He activated the special drive they had designed. The ship hummed differently as hidden. Panels along its hull opened, extending sensor arrays that glowed with subtle blue light. Harmonizer systems online, Joe reported, detecting electromagnetic fields from the asteroid belt. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was their destination. Under normal circumstances, ships avoided it, taking longer routes around the dangerous field of space rocks. But the challenge required traversing directly through it to reach a beacon on the other side. They'll reach the edge of the field about 20 minutes before us, Kelly reported, studying the tracking data. That's fine, Alex replied. We need to pace ourselves. As they approached Mars, they caught sight of the red planet gleaming in the sunlight. Under different circumstances, they might have paused to admire the view. But today, their focus remained on the task ahead. 5 hours into the journey, they received their first images of the Viridian ship entering the asteroid field. It plowed forward, its reinforced hull smashing smaller rocks aside. Their approach is exactly what we expected, Joe said. Brute force. Alex watched the footage carefully. Notice how they're using their engines. Full power all the time. On their sensors, they could now see the asteroid field looming ahead. Thousands of rocks ranging from the size of cars to the size of mountains, all moving in complex patterns. Activating. Harmonizer in 3, 2, 1. Joe pressed a sequence of controls. The ship vibrated slightly as the system came online. Outside, the blue glow around their hull intensified. Here we go, Alex said as they entered the edge of the field. The first few minutes were tense. Small rocks approached their ship, but instead of hitting it, they seemed to veer away at the last moment, deflected by the electromagnetic field they had created. It's working, Kelly exclaimed. Don't celebrate yet, Alex cautioned. The density increases as we go deeper. Through their communication channel, they heard updates about the Viridian vessel. It was making steady progress, smashing through smaller asteroids and using its powerful engines to navigate around larger ones. They're using tremendous energy, Tim noted, watching the readings. Those engines will overheat if they maintain that output. An hour into the asteroid field, their sensors detected a change in the patterns ahead. Density increasing by 60%, Joe reported. And the electromagnetic properties are stronger, Alex nodded. This is where our approach makes the difference. Activate secondary harmonizer systems. Additional panels opened along their hull, strengthening their field. As they moved deeper, their ship began to move differently, not just avoiding asteroids but using their natural movements. When a large rock passed nearby, the harmonizer used its momentum to give their ship a gentle push forward. We're like a leaf in a stream, Kelly said, watching the rocks flow around them. Exactly, Alex replied, using the field's energy instead of fighting against it. Meanwhile, reports from Earth Control indicated the Viridian ship was encountering difficulties. The constant impacts, even from smaller rocks, were taking a toll on their hull. Their massive engines were showing signs of strain. They're still ahead of us, Tim reminded everyone. For now, Alex said. But we're conserving energy. They're spending it all. 3 hours into the asteroid field, they reached the most dangerous section, what astronomers called the Crusher. Here, gravitational forces from Jupiter caused asteroids to collide more frequently, creating a chaotic environment. On their screens, they saw the Viridian ship struggling. Its movements had become less precise, more reactive. Their engines are at critical temperature, Joe reported, monitoring the data feeds. They can't maintain that output much longer. Alex adjusted their course slightly. This is where our approach shines. Instead of fighting the chaos, we'll use it. He engaged a special sequence in the harmonizer, one they had designed specifically for this section. Their ship began to move in sync with the larger patterns of the field, finding paths where the rocks naturally created temporary corridors. It's like dancing, Kelly whispered, watching the asteroids part before them. Suddenly, their communication system crackled with an urgent message from Earth Control. Attention both vessels. The Viridian ship has sustained critical damage. Their main power systems are failing. Alex brought up the long-range sensors. The Viridian vessel was visible now, drifting between massive asteroids, its engines sputtering with uneven light. They're stuck, Tim said. Without power, they can't maneuver. Alex studied the situation quickly. The Viridian ship wasn't far off their planned route, but every minute spent away from that route increased their own risk. What are we going to do? Kelly asked, looking at Alex. The ship's computer chimed with an alert. Collision imminent for Viridian vessel. Estimated time to impact, 7 minutes. Alex made his decision. Tim, adjust our course. We're going to help them. That means we might not complete the challenge in time, Joe pointed out. If we leave them to die, we've already failed the real test, Alex replied. They altered course, the harmonizer adapting to the new direction. As they approached the Viridian ship, they could see the damage clearly. Its hull was cracked in multiple places, and one of its massive engines had gone completely dark. Open a communication channel, Alex instructed. Commander Krex's face appeared on their screen. Even through the alien features, they could see surprise. What are you doing, human? He asked. Preparing to assist, Alex replied. We can extend our harmonizer field around your vessel, but you'll need to shut down your remaining engines. You would risk your victory to save us? Commander Krex's 3 eyes blinked rapidly. Some things are more important than winning, Alex said simply. There was a pause before Commander Krex nodded. We will comply with your instructions. As the human ship maneuvered carefully alongside the damaged Viridian vessel, Alex looked at his team. Their faces showed determination mixed with tension. Ready for the hard part? He asked them. They nodded, knowing that saving the Viridians would be more difficult than simply completing the course. But as humans, they understood something the Viridians were just beginning to learn. True strength wasn't always about muscle or power. Sometimes it was about making the hard choice when no one would blame you for the easy one. Extending the harmonizer field around the much larger Viridian ship pushed their systems to the limit. Warning lights flashed across the control panels as the human vessel strained under the effort. Hull integrity at 70%, Kelly reported, her fingers moving quickly over her controls. The field is stable, but we're taking stress damage. Power reserves dropping, Tim added. We'll have enough to get through the field, but not much more. Alex nodded, making minute adjustments to keep both ships moving safely through the asteroid field. Joe, calculate the safest path out, not the fastest. The physicist studied his readings. There's a lower density corridor about 30 degrees, to our right. It will take longer but put less strain on our systems. Alex turned the joined ships carefully, feeling the resistance as the harmonizer worked to protect the massive Viridian vessel. Through the viewport, they could see asteroids flowing around them like water around stones in a river. Inside the human ship, the temperature rose as their systems worked harder than they were designed to. Sweat beaded on everyone's foreheads, but they remained focused on their tasks. On the communication screen, Commander Krex watched them work. His 3 eyes moved from human to human, observing their calm efficiency despite the danger. Your vessel was not designed to carry such a burden, he finally said. No, Alex agreed without looking up from his controls, but we're adapting. Why risk yourselves for us when victory was within your reach? Alex glanced at the alien commander. Because that's what humans do. We help each other survive. 4 hours of careful navigation followed. The human team worked in shifts, 2 resting while 2 guided the ships. They shared water and energy bars, conserving their strength. On the Viridian vessel, engineers worked to repair their systems, with guidance from Tim, who suggested ways to modify their power distribution. "They're actually listening to our suggestions now," Tim remarked during one break. "Nothing like nearly dying to make you reconsider your assumptions," Kelly replied with a tired smile. As they neared the edge of the asteroid field, Earth Control contacted them. "Human vessel, be advised, you have missed the challenge deadline. However, both Earth and Viridian authorities have been monitoring your rescue operation." Alex acknowledged the message without regret. They had known the consequences of their choice. When they finally emerged from the asteroid field, the beacon that marked the finish line glowed faintly in the distance. They had missed it by 3 hours. Preparing to disengage, Alex announced to the Viridian ship, "Your emergency power should be sufficient for basic maneuvering now." "Acknowledged," Commander Krex replied. "Stand by." To the humans' surprise, the communication screen expanded to show not just Commander Krex but a full council of Viridian officials. Their massive forms filled the screen, all three-eyed faces turned toward the human crew. Alex Carter and crew of Earth, one elder Viridian, said formally, "We have witnessed your actions today. You failed to complete the challenge within the required time." Alex straightened in his seat. "We chose to rescue your people instead." "Yes," the elder nodded. "A choice that demonstrates a form of strength we did not anticipate." Commander Krex spoke next. "My ship would have been destroyed without their assistance. Their vessel, which I dismissed as fragile, navigated the field with an elegance our brute strength could not match." The elder Viridian made a gesture with his four-fingered hand. "The purpose of the challenge was to determine if humans possessed strength worthy of alliance. We have our answer." Alex and his team exchanged glances, hope rising in their tired faces. "Humanity has demonstrated strength of innovation, adaptation, and most surprisingly, character," the elder continued. "These are rare qualities in the universe and valuable ones." "Then you'll help us against the Noridians?" Alex asked directly. "More than that," the elder replied. "We invite Earth to join the Viridian Alliance as full members, with all the protection and benefits that entails." Cheers erupted from Earth Control over their communications system. Alex's team embraced each other, relief washing over their exhausted faces. As both ships turned back toward Earth, Commander Krex requested a private channel with Alex. "I owe you an apology, human," the massive alien said when they were alone on the communication screen. "I judged your worth by my world's standards." "An understandable mistake," Alex replied. "We all see the universe through the lens of our own experience. Your ship's design, it was not just about technology, was it? It demonstrated a philosophy." Alex nodded. "Why fight the universe when you can work with it? Why overpower when you can adapt?" "My people have much to learn from yours, Commander," Krex admitted. "And perhaps we have some things to teach you as well." "That's what alliances are for," Alex said with a tired smile. 2 weeks later, Alex stood in a large auditorium in Geneva as representatives from Earth's nations and the Viridian Alliance signed formal treaties. His team sat in places of honor, still somewhat uncomfortable with their new status as heroes. After the ceremony, he walked outside to get some fresh air. The night sky was clear, stars twinkling overhead. Among them, Viridian ships now patrolled, protecting Earth as preparations began for the inevitable Noridian approach. Commander Krex found him there, his massive form now a familiar sight. "The defense platforms are being installed in your outer system," the alien said. "Combined with our new shield design based on your harmonizer technology, they will present a formidable barrier." "Will it be enough?" Alex asked. "Against the Noridians. Brute strength?" "Perhaps not," Commander Krex admitted. "But they have never encountered an enemy that thinks as your species does. They expect direct confrontation, not adaptation." Alex nodded, understanding. "They'll expect us to fight like you, and instead they will face humans," Commander Krex said, a new respect in his voice, "who taught even the mighty Viridians that strength comes in many forms." 6 months later, When the first Noridian battle fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, they found not just Viridian warships waiting for them, but a new type of defense system, one that used their own momentum against them, that adapted to their tactics, that thought differently. In the command center on Earth, Alex and his team worked alongside Viridian engineers guiding the defense. As the Noridian ships approached, Commander Krex looked at the humans who had changed his understanding of strength. "They believe strength is about destruction," he said. "Let us show them it is also about creation, adaptation, and cooperation." Alex nodded, his fingers moving over the controls that would help protect his world. The Noridians were about to learn what the Viridians had discovered, that sometimes the greatest strength lies not in muscle, but in the human capacity to think differently. And in the darkness of space, as Noridian ships encountered an unexpected defense, the lesson began.